Good morning, YouTube, BookTube. This is Johnny. I thought I'd make a video. It's a Sunday. As you know, my wife goes to church on Sunday, and I am left alone in the hermit hut in the midst of the American wasteland, the last days of the American Empire. It is March the 2nd, 2025. It's 10:15 in the morning here in Holland, Michigan. Waking up to the Christian Sabbath, the day of rest. And outside it's cold. Snow has been melting steadily. But as I've mentioned over the years in these videos, it doesn't get warm here until late May. It doesn't really get warm. Usually in March it rains, snow and ice, and yeah, it doesn't get really warm. So I'm writing in my paper diary. I'm on page 209 this morning for the year 2025. Reading for morning devotion, still the commentary on the Apostle Paul's epistle to the Philippians. Still reading this by, I still haven't looked up the name yet, Jamardo Zangzi. Translated, introduced by Patrick J. O'Bandon. And what I'm going to do in this video is that I bought a lot of brand new books. These are all brand new books. Sometimes I show you in videos thrift store books, used books, and some new books. These are all new books that I got from Amazon. I got this from Amazon, so it's a new book. I didn't buy this from a thrift store, I bought it from Amazon. As I mentioned, you can't find the kind of Christian books that I like, you can't find at thrift stores. You have to buy them from Amazon, or I buy a lot of books from Reformation Heritage Books in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which sells Puritan, Reformed theology and things like that. But then I buy books, a lot of books from Amazon, Christian books from Amazon. Because many years ago when I worked, I haven't worked since 2007, but when I was off on the weekends, back in those old days, and I wasn't working, on the weekends I'd get into the car and I'd drive to Grand Rapids and I'd visit Christian bookstores and I'd buy Christian books. I go to Erdman's, Baker Bookhouse, and I would stop at used bookstores looking for, non-Christian books, but I don't do that anymore because for one thing, as I repeat it myself, I'm 72 years old, and I'm no longer preaching or teaching, or I'm not involved in any kind of Christian ministry. So, and plus, you can only buy so many commentaries on the book of the Bible. So I tend to buy, I buy things like this. This was a Reformation commentary. This guy lived from 1516 to 1590, and this was translated just recently out of Latin. Things like that I buy. But there's not really that many Christian books that I really want anymore. It's kind of like, as you get older, you tend to grow out of things, or you have enough of a certain thing. So I tend to buy more different kinds of Christian books. I'm always looking at what's coming out in the Christian publishing world. I look at Erdman's website. I look at Baker Bookhouse, InterVarsity. I look at other publishers, at Catholic books and things like that. As far as Catholic books, this is another new book. I've mentioned to you, I've shown over the years this Dionysian the Carthusian. This is Denis. My wife keeps correcting me. She said it's not Dionysian, it's Denis. Denis the Carthusian. Commentary on Davidic Psalms, Volume 5 just came out. I've been looking for this thing forever. I have volumes 1, 2, 3, and 4, which I've shown to you over the years. And this is one of my favorite sets. I should just show them to you. I can get them right now. See, here's the other ones. I've been looking for Volume 5 forever. And I first got Volume 1, the commentary on Davidic Psalms, and then Volume 2 came out. Volume 2 came out in, when this one come out? Came out in, doesn't say when it came out. Anyway, it came out, and then Volume 3 came out. They're all translation and introduced by Andrew M. Greenwell. So then Volume 4 came out, and now Volume 5 just came out, and I got it yesterday. And I really enjoyed reading these. These are the kind of things I like buying now. I like the medieval period, Reformation, patristics, early church fathers, and things like that. So, and I got another one. I showed you this one, the Ancient Christian Texts, Romans and 2 Corinthians by Ambrosia. Now, they don't really know who exactly this person was, and some monk back in the Middle Ages attached this name to this commentary, this person. They don't know exactly who he is. So I bought that one, and then I got another one. I told you I was going to get the other one, Ancient Christian Texts, Commentaries in Galatians to Philemon. These are translated and edited by Gerald L. Bray. So now I got both of these. As I told you, if I was really rich, I would buy all of these ancient Christian texts. They're pretty expensive. So another new book I got, we'll just stick with the Christian books. I got the Unvarnished Jesus, the Beauty of Christ and His Ugly Rivals by Samuel G. Parkison. So I got this in the mail. I've been reading Irresistible Beauty by him, and he had a book on the gaze of God on the Beatific Vision, which I read. Yeah, he wrote, To Gaze Upon God, the Beatific Vision in Doctrine, Tradition, and Practice. I just read that one. Irresistible Beauty, Beholding the Triune Glory in the Face of Jesus Christ. And now I'm reading this one, just came out by him. So these are the books that I got from Amazon. Now some are used books. I mean, they're not brand new. This is brand new. This one here is called Marvelous Solitude, The Art of Reading in Early Modern Europe by Lina Bolzoni. And this is translated out of the Italian by Sylvia Greenup. So I got this book. And then I bought another book like that. This is a brand new book, The Medieval Scriptorium, Making Books in the Middle Ages by Sarah J. Charles. The Medieval Scriptorium. Yeah, I'm really into that whole time period, the medieval ages. And somebody showed this book on BookTube, and I ordered it because it really has nice little, the making of books in the Middle Ages. And this was published by Recontion Books. But it's a really nice book, very heavy duty. So I got that. That goes along with the Davidic Psalms by Denis, the Carthusian. Here's a book I came across. I've been reading I was reading a world history book, and this was mentioned in the bibliography, 100 Years of Socialism, West European Left in the 20th Century by David Sassoon. Yeah, I like reading about politics, American politics, European politics, communism, the Bolshevik Revolution, socialism, leftist politics, anarchy, things like that. So this looked interesting. So I bought this used from a thrift books. I bought this new. Our oldest son down the street said that he'd listened to this book on his iPod when he was going for walking, and I have a lot of books by this historian, but I didn't have this one, so I ordered. It's called American Colossus, The Triumph of Capitalism in 1865 to 1900 by H.W. Brands. I collect H.W. Brands, and I didn't have this one. He wrote a lot of books, and I don't have all of them, but I have a lot of them. And this one, I'm interested in capitalism, and I like reading American history. That's my primary focus is on American history, literary history of America, American Christianity, the American Transcendentalist movement in the 1850s and 40s, Ralph Emerson, David Thoreau, Emily Dickinson, Margaret Fuller, the Alcotts, that whole time period. I'm not really a American Civil War buff, but I do collect some books like that. I like reading books on the Reconstruction after the Civil War, the Gilded Age, really from 1890 up until probably the 60s and 70s. But I got this brand new book. And then I was reading a book on the Bloomsbury Group, Virginia Woolf, and that whole literary movement in early modernism. And this lady, she was a diarist primarily, but she hung around with the Bloomsbury Group. And somebody wrote a biography on her, and it's called Frances Partridge, a biography by Annie Chisholm. This is used, but I like reading biographies of that literary movement in England, Bloomsbury, that whole time period before the Second World War, and the literary movements in early modernism. So I got this. Also, I found this book was in a footnote and said it was one of the best books they knew on the Cold War. So I bought it, The Cold War, A History by Martin Walker. So I got this. This is new. And yeah, I'm always buying books or looking for books on the Cold War because that whole part of world history, America, Soviet Union relationships, and all those kind of things kind of interest me, and so I got this book. Then I got these two books from Hamilton Books, which sells books on discount, really cheap, and I got The World According to Joan Didion. No, it's Didion by Evelyn McDonnell. Yeah, I have all of her writings, and I don't know if I have any biographies about her, but this is more like a literary biography on her. She passed away recently, and so I bought this from Hamilton Books. And then I bought this book from Hamilton Books. This is about a memoir by A.M. Wilson, who I collect his writings. He writes biographies, he writes novels, he writes all kinds of books, and I collect his writings. I have his book on the Victorians, his book on, he wrote I think a biography on Tolstoy. He's written all kinds of books, but he wrote a memoir called Confessions, A Life of Failed Promises. And I got this from Hamilton Books really cheap. And I think it just covers his youth. I don't think it goes his whole life. But I like, as you know, I like reading memoirs, biographies, literary biographies like this. I like reading letters, and I like reading those kinds of books. That's why I bought this one. I'm always reading about the Bloomsbury Group. Like it says here in the back, as a child, Frances Partridge marched for votes for women, played at the first feet at such literary luminaries as Arthur Conan Doyle and Tennyson. At 18, she studied philosophy at Cambridge and danced the Charleston with Lord Mountbatten. In the 1920s, she fell in love with bohemian literary London and Ralph Partridge, himself already entangled in a delicate relationships. She went on to become a pivotal figure in her own right as influential pacifist, hostess, and diarist, publishing a series of diaries on everything from Bloomsbury's legacy to the revolution of the 1960s. Yeah, you can buy her diaries. They're probably edited, I'm sure, but if, like I said, I was rich, I'd probably buy her diaries, but I'm not that rich. You got to be selective when you're a bookworm, because there's no end. Yeah, I like reading about politics. That's why I got 100 Years of Socialism, The West European Left in the 20th Century by Donald Sisson. Very small print. It's over 1,000 pages. I think it's over 1,000. Well, it's about 950 pages. Yeah, I like reading about the medieval scriptorium, making of books in the Middle Ages. And then you have Marvelous Solitude, The Art of Reading in Early Modern Europe by Lina Bolzoni. And The Unvarnished Jesus, The Beauty of Christ and His Ugly Rivals by Samuel G. Parkison. I'm also reading this morning The Confessions of Christian Religion by Zany. And Reformation Commentary, Philippians to Colossians. And now I get to read Volume 5 of Denis' Carthusian Commentary on the Davidic Psalms, Volume 5, Psalms 101 to 125. Translation introduced by Andrew M. Greenwell. Yeah, I was so excited. There's one more volume. There's only 6. It's a 6-volume set. So now I gotta wait for volume 6. But I've read these. Now, I noticed when I got volume 4 out, my bookmarker, I had not finished it. So I plan to finish this one first before I start volume 5. I keep these now in my study because they're one of my favorite books. So that's what's going on in my book world. I still have thrift store books downstairs, stacks of those I'll show in a future video. And I got a new bookcase. I was going to do a bookcase video. So when you get I put it in my study. I have 2 of these kinds of bookcases in my study, and I bought a 3rd one. And that's one thing, when you get a new bookcase and you got a lot of books, what are you going to put in the bookcase? And so I'll do that maybe this week. I'll show you the new bookcase and what books I selected out of all the books down the lower level that I wanted to put there so I can look at them and have easy access to them. So that's it here. We're in the month of March, and things don't look any better out there in the world. It looks a lot worse, unfortunately. But I'm not going to go into some kind of political tirade. I could ramble about that all day long, but why bore you guys? So I thank you for the new subscribers. Thank you for the comments. Yeah, that's about it. Nothing going on this week. I don't have any books coming in. Wait a minute. There is a book sale, a library used book sale this week, Thursday. My wife and I are going to Hudsonville, weather permitting. There is a library in Hudsonville, which is about 20 minutes from Holland. And we will go to there, and then we visit thrift stores looking at their used books. So we'll do that. I think it's on Thursday. And my wife also mentioned we might drive to Grand Rapids to pick up our taxes. It all depends upon the weather, because I will not go drive in a car if it's raining or snowing or any kind. It has to be dry roads, sunshine. So we'll see. But weather permitting, we'll go to a used book sale at a library in Hudsonville, visit thrift stores, and then we'll go to Grand Rapids. Well, it's not really into Grand Rapids. It's called Granville, which is right on the edge of Grand Rapids, to pick up our taxes. So we'll see. So that's it here in my little hermit hut. Writing in my diary, reading, studying, pondering, waiting. And yeah, life is just zooming by. So I hope you had a good February. I hope you have a good March. And may the Lord bless. Thank you for the comments. I'm always finding comments. I found a comment last night, 12 days ago. I don't know, they just show up. So I try to respond to all comments. I do enjoy the interaction, and I do appreciate all those who subscribe and make comments. I do want to interact, so I'll keep looking for comments. So until the next time, may the Lord bless. Bye.